Morning, David.
Good morning from a very cold France, but all is good, all is good.
Oh, well, morning from a mild south coast of England.
Yeah.
Yes, well, after having the shocking freezing yesterday morning, this morning, it is mild. We have 10 degrees.
Oh, very
So
nice.
we really had a 20-degree swing in the last 24 hours, which is something
Wow.
special.
Yes.
But talking about things that are so changeable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Business can be hugely changeable, and during the last few days the media and the government have started talking about the Omicron variant
Yeah.
of COVID, which I'm sure
Yep.
I will learn to say much better in
Omicron, yeah, Omicron, whatever. Yeah, okay, yep.
Omicron. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I think that having that news come out over the weekend is a great example about how good business culture and good leadership can really make a difference to everybody, giving them peace of mind in the way that we deal with these things. So when the news started to come out at the weekend, what did you think? How did you feel?
I think the first thing was sort of disappointment. Actually, it was like, here we go again. It did feel as if we were, and I mean, we, the business community, were coming out of this. Christmas on the horizon, next year looking very bright and positive, and all the indicators were going the right way. And then, bang, we get this news of this Omicron variant coming out. So I think the initial one was from Botswana, then South Africa, and it's like, oh, here we go again. I think it was just disappointment was the first thing, actually.
I think I've got a form of business COVID PTSD, because my reaction wasn't dissimilar to your own, and I just felt really disheartened.
Yeah.
Especially by Sunday, and I expect that's because my mind was starting to think about the fact that Monday is a business working day, and I've learned that you don't go impulsively running out to the office just because there's a crisis on the media, because we don't know what the crisis is. It's important to build some space and have a think, but yeah, just felt really deflated, disruptive sleep, concerned, thinking, right, okay, what do we have to do here, and what is the impact going to be over the 6 months? And of course, none of us have got the crystal balls to know exactly what's going to happen. However, we can put some stakes in the ground which are good for us as individuals, as business leaders, and members of our Domestic Angels business community, but also for our wider family, for our staff, the angels, and for the customers. And by having that thought process, my PTSD was much calmer. So, yeah, it's a mental health issue, but I'm not surprised. I think it's really important.
Absolutely, no, thanks everyone.
To recognise that is exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
You cannot underestimate the trauma the last 2 years has brought to so many of us. We just don't realise, and I'm great at forgetting those really nasty experiences and moving on, but clearly there was a memory that came back and went slap, and was like, oh no, back again. So we needed to do something, and I'd be interested to know what maybe other businesses have done that you've been speaking to. But yesterday morning we got a few of our franchisees together, their supervisors, and had a chat about it and said, right, okay, what do we know? Where are we at? What we know is that masks are being worn in public spaces again, not everywhere, but in some of them. And of course, when we came out of lockdown in summer 2020, the rules were very clear. You needed a mask on when you went in a house, or stand in a different room, work in one room, customer in the other room, or preferably the house empty, hand washing, all those kinds of things that we're very familiar with. So really, the upshot of what we talked about was bring that back to the forefront. So when you're learning something, you bring it to the front of your mind, and then over time it slots back. So this is an opportunity to use that kind of behavior programming right now, and bring it to the front of our mind. So we pretty much decided that's the way to go, and we need it to be much nicer and warmer than previous communications, which were very reflective of a time of emergency. We don't feel that this one needs to feel quite like an emergency. We've been in this for so long. We don't need to keep creating trauma.
Absolutely.
We need to move forward. So we've named the campaign the Safe Space campaign.
Yeah, great.
And this is going to be safe space for you, for me, for our staff, the angels, for our customers and their friends and family. So it's about the safe space, about wearing a mask or being in a different room, about washing our hands, about that respect that helps to prevent transmission.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We came up with that. We come up with the campaign title. We've hooked out the social media picked graphics in posts. And over the next day or two, we're going to work on the wording to go with those posts, but also the communications that can go out to our customers, reassuring them, saying, you know, we're hearing about it's winter.
Exactly.
Going to go around. So it's not so much that it's COVID, it's winter anyway. So let's have safe space. And we get that to our staff as well. And that's all about reassuring and giving people confidence, so that regardless of how extensive the virus spreads, they know we're thinking about it, and we are being confident about it and taking steps, which so many other companies don't do in our industry.
I think one of the benefits, and this comes back to the sort of team and the network and the franchise principle, is that as a franchisor, you've been able to give this leadership to the team. A lot of people are they're sort of reacting, not responding. Well, I think what you guys have done is collectively you've responded in a very good way. You've got the safe space, you've discussed it, you've gone through it, nobody's panicking. And you've responded well. Too many people are reacting, which is they hear the news over the weekend, they look on Facebook, and it's like, oh, they panic and they lose the plot and off they go. That, you know, once leaders start to panic, then we've lost the plot. So I think there's a leadership role there. Absolutely right. I mean, what I'm seeing in different sectors is the same sort of thing, with different flavors, like the martial artists, for example, could be affected by this. But I was speaking to one, earlier on this morning, and he said, look, we've been here before, as you said. He said, we don't actually know what this Omicron virus variant is at the moment. How good, bad, or indifferent is it? We don't know. So if the worst comes to the worst, we'll flip back onto Zoom, we'll do our things, and we've been here before. So there's that sort of bit of resignation to it. But I agree with you. It's just a case of put the things in place. It's a confidence issue. We don't know how bad it's going to be. I did see an interesting post, actually, that the Omicron virus is an anagram of moronic, which made me smile a little bit. Anyway, so but then you go down a rabbit hole of Facebook conspiracies if you're not careful. But anyway,
yes.
We've got the moronic virus now as well. But I hope, and I'm not qualified, so I'm going to be very careful what I say here. I've seen some reports coming out from, I think it was South Africa, where they're saying, look, they've got the virus down there, the variant. It seems to be not affecting people in a very dramatic way. So in the next week or maybe 10 days, we may be very fortunate to get some more positive news that actually the heat's off and we can sort of relax a little bit and go back to it. But in the meantime, I think you've done absolutely the right thing. I think that response is absolutely the right thing to do. It's leadership, it's precautions, it's confidence, and it's it's calming the troops within the franchise team as well. So I think it's the right thing to do. Everybody's got to do the same thing, basically.
Yeah, and calming the customers as well, because I think it would be horrible for them. There's people out there that we look after who, without our visits, they don't get a visit at all from anybody. And without our visits, their homes do get in a pickle, because whoever visits, for some people, whoever else visits, they don't go there to take care of the house cleaning, the housework, and maybe the shopping. And so then things start to go downhill, then their health goes downhill, the mental health goes downhill. Then there's the busy families where, even though this is going on, and yes, we're now in a phase of work from home if you can, it's the request, it's not enforced, it's if you can. When you work from home and your house gets in a pickle, there's a mental health issue as well, and people are going to be fearful of homeschooling, of all of those things. So if we can be stable and reassuring through the storm, I think that is the very best we can do.
It's all anybody can do, I think,
Yeah.
because we don't know the full picture. We can only manage what we know, and the information is pretty sketchy at the moment, I think, by the look of it, and justifiably so. It's been out. This thing's been wandering around South Africa for a while, by the look of it. It's now over in Belgium, Germany. I think it's in Australia, and it's everywhere basically.
It's everywhere already, isn't it?
So it's out there. We've got to just wait and see, which is horrible. And I think, the part of the challenge for a lot of people, us included, is if we know there's a real problem, we can handle it, we can sort it. With this particular situation, as it has been for a long time, the last couple of years, it's that level of uncertainty. We don't know what's it going to look like. What do we do? When's it going to end? And that uncertainty is what tends to dwell in people's minds, I think.
Yeah, and then that's why we need to do this reassurance and make sure that people know that, okay, so we don't know, but even if there wasn't a viral pandemic, there would be something else going on that we never know the outcome of. And that is recognizing, actually, that's normal. This just feels so much more overwhelming. So we want to take the overwhelm out of that for everybody in the Domestic Angels family. So that is everybody, including the customers, and they're often their relatives. And this is one of the advantages of working in a franchise setup, because each of the franchisees are part of the wider franchise family. So while they're in business for themselves, they're not alone.
Absolutely right. No,
by this, but I'm supported by them, because, as I said, described right up front, I met with franchisees and their supervisors and yourself, other members of the team, and we talked it through. And we figured it out. Nobody had to figure it out on their own.
That's it. Exactly right. But also that combined minds thinking about the same thing, and realizing that there is we can sort this through is a great bit of confidence, I think, as well. Yeah,
and we talked about that all together, but we also talked about what contingency they needed to put into place for their businesses, just in case there is an impact. So they still need to earn a living, they still need to pay a mortgage. Absolutely. Even if customers say, oh, I don't really want an angel in for the time being. And this is what people have to remember, for these people to survive, because they eat, because they work.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to reflect the ebb and flow and respect, and we hope it's coming back the other way, and most of the time we feel it's coming back the other way, but we do need to find ways of finding our way successfully and mindfully through troubled waters. And that's what we've got, and I would expect it to be troubled until, say, the back end of March, end of flu season.
But I think the principle here, I mean, at the moment we've got COVID, we've got the moronic variants. I can't get in my head now.
We've got that to come through. In your head.
but next year, let's say, all being well, COVID diminishes in its sort of severity, we get through it. But then we're going to have inflation, then we're going to have interest rates, then we're going to have something else, It's that sort of coping mechanism. How do we deal with this, whatever it happens to be? And the same principles apply. And I think this is where you get the team together, the leadership, the franchise model, and you sort things out as a team rather than individually. Because if you sat running your own business by yourself with your laptop and your phone, and there's nobody around, you're going to start looking at Facebook, you're going to start looking at the feeds, and you don't know what's true and what's not, and you don't get that balanced view, which is really dangerous, I think.
Yeah, and I do feel for those ladies and gents out there who are private individuals, helping in people's homes, doing the cleaning. I salute you for what you do, but that's scary for you guys, because it's so difficult to digest all of this information on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe they should buy a franchise from Domestic Angels, perhaps. That'd be an idea.
Maybe they should. Come join the team. So, if you would like to be part of the family that talks together, collaborates together to find the right way forward, and not be alone, be part of a bigger family, and draw on strength and experience that is more than just widespreading, then give us a shout. So you can reach me. I was going to say you can reach Liz, but I've forgotten her phone number. You can reach me on 07985 28 11 20, or email me on sam@domestic-angels.com. You can reach Liz as well on liz@domestic-angels.com. Let's chat it through and see what we can do to help you. But look, thanks ever so much for chatting through this with me today, David. I think it's really important for the small business owners of the world, for the other business owners who are in our industry as well. It's a lot to deal with. We all are a little bit battle weary, but we're in it together, so a bit of support. So thank you.
A pleasure. Great to see you.
Okay.